TV Defense recently released their 2.0 series lineup of their Tofu series keyboard kits. And honestly, the 2.0 does come with a lot of great options. And ever since the original Tofu series, which was also very popular, a lot of the reason for that was because it was a keyboard that was always in stock. But there have been a bunch of different changes that have happened from the point of the original Tofu to now. There have been other brands that have been releasing other kind of starter kits or keyboard kits that were made more for the starter keyboard enthusiasts, offering different mounting options and kind of different configurations at a very budget price. And the Tofu 2.0 series isn't that different. You do get up to 5 different configurations with 3 different mounting styles that you can choose from. One of those mounting styles is their newest bowl mount, I believe is what they're called. Basically, you can choose from a different kind of mounting option, different kind of density of the type of bowl, which is a little silicone bowl that you kind of place on the plate. You can choose from 3 different options, which is going to give you up to 5 different configurations that you can kind of play around with. Honestly, I think this is one of the biggest selling factors of a starter kit or a starter keyboard, because you do get different kind of options that you can play around with. You can make up different configurations and see exactly what you like, exactly what kind of typing feel you like to use on your keyboard. That way, whenever it comes to upgrading or getting another keyboard, you can go exactly for the mounting option that you like. And that's when you can go ahead and decide and spend more money on something that's a little more custom, has a little bit more of a unique design, a unique weight, or anything like that. And the different types of bowl mounts that you can get from this keyboard do feel a little bit different, but when you take them out of their bag, they can be a little bit difficult to kind of tell apart other than the color. So make sure you always put it back in their respective bag so you know exactly what kind of density the silicone is made of. Now, these bowl mounts do kind of serve a little bit like gasket mounts. They kind of serve as that separator between the plate and the bottom piece of the case. And depending on the density, it is going to either feel more bouncy if it's going to be kind of on the lower end of the density. And if they're going to be more hard plasticky, they are going to be a little bit more stiff. But that does not compare to kind of how stiff this keyboard can get with the silicone socks, which also are another mounting option that comes available with this keyboard. Now, the reason the socks are going to make the keyboard feel a little more stiff is because, in contrast to what I've seen on other keyboards, these silicone socks actually sit vertically on the plate, meaning whenever you put the 2 case pieces together, because the silicone sock is going to be vertical, it is difficult to kind of put the 2 pieces of the case together. You'll even see here in this example, when you flip the keyboard upside down with the silicone socks in place, you kind of have to press them together in order for you to even get the screws in and put those 2 case pieces together. Now, this is the mounting style that I like best on this keyboard because, like I mentioned before, I do like when the typing feel is a little bit more stiff and it doesn't really get too flexible, because whenever I'm typing, I do feel like my hands get a little bit more fatigued whenever I'm typing on something that's a little flexible and a little bouncy. And that is also the reason why I do not like this third mounting style, which is the top mount. And for those of you that don't know what the top mount is, you basically screw the plate and PCB to the top of the case so that whenever you turn or put the case pieces together, the plate is going to be held by the top of the case. So typing on this is going to be a little bit more bouncy than any other option on this keyboard. And that is why I don't like this case. It kind of reminds me of the Leaf spring mount, which I have seen on my Thermal Plus keyboard. It's just a little too bouncy for me, a little bit too flexible, and it kind of kills the experience and it kills the sound from my experience on any of these keyboards. One flexible feature that I do like about this keyboard though is that the PCB is going to be multi-configurable, if that's even a word. You are going to be allowed to kind of set the way you want the backspace and the right shift to be, whether you want it to be a split backspace or a split right shift key, which I have chosen to do because I do need kind of access to that second layer. Because this keyboard is VIA compatible, it is very easy to just go to the website, kind of give access to the website to kind of attach to the keyboard, and then you can go ahead and switch around any configuration that you would like. If you got an HHKB60, this is actually the way that you're going to set it so that the PCB knows that you have a 7U spacebar and that you aren't going to have those other switches in between. And another reason why I like it being VIA compatible is because I do like using that second layer to kind of control my monitor. I recently got this LG 5K display that has no buttons on it, so I have to kind of edit or move everything from my keyboard. So having access to that second layer allows me to go into VIA and set up hotkeys on the second layer to control the volume and the brightness of the monitor. And I am going to be reviewing this LG 5K monitor, so if that is something that you've had your eye on, make sure you subscribe because I will be taking a look and doing a full review whether or not it's worth it. I've already looked at the Apple Studio display, that wasn't worth it. This screen is very similar kind of in all the other tests and in my everyday use. So honestly, spoiler alert, I do think it's going to be worth it, especially if you can get it at a cheaper price, but make sure you guys stay tuned for my full review on the monitor. Now the Tofu 2.0 has barely any differences in the design language from the 1.0. The case looks fairly similar, but you do get those added extra mounting options in case you want to try something new. Another thing that it does share with the 1.0 is that it is always readily available. It's in stock. You can get it through KBD fans. I personally use Divinity because it's closer to my state of Arizona so that I can get kind of 2-day shipping straight from California. I am going to be linking both of the places down in the description so you can decide kind of where you want to go with, and depending on where you are living, the different shipping options can be cheaper through one vendor than with another vendor. But this is honestly great for this keyboard because again, anything that's going to get someone into the keyboard community, it's nice when it's something that's in stock. It's nice when it has multiple mounting options, which is why the Tofu 2.0 is still a good option for those that are looking to kind of get into the custom keyboard community and are just looking to explore different mounting options. I will say though that from the time of the release of the original Tofu, there have been a lot of changes to the keyboard community, especially with keyboard kits that are going to be for someone that's kind of barely getting started. There are other options. I personally like the Bakken Echo better than the Tofu. It offers less mounting options. It's going to be the O-ring mount, but it is going to come in cheaper, and it's still going to allow for that flexibility of constantly changing out anything that you want on the keyboard. And by saving money on the keyboard itself, you do have some extra money allowable for you to get keycaps and some switches. Because these are keyboard kits, they don't come with any of those two things, so you will have to kind of spend extra money to get all of those extras. And even though I haven't tried the Mode Envoy myself, from all the reviews and videos I have seen, that's also going to be a great option, and it's going to be coming only at about $10 or $15 more starting price than what you would get with the Tofu 2.0. And with the Mode Envoy, you do get different configuration options. You get kind of like that accent bar, and you get a bottom plate that you can also configure to your liking, as well as having multiple case design options, or I guess multiple case color options. And whereas with the Tofu 2.0, you can only choose the case color and you can choose what kind of plate you want, but other than that, you can't really configure too much. And even though I haven't tried the Mode Envoy myself, I have tried their Mode Sonnet. Make sure you guys watch my review by clicking on the video here. And if you're not into custom keyboard kits and you want something more of a pre-built, make sure you watch my Keychron K2 V2 Pro keyboard review, which is going to be right here. That's another option for those of you that are looking for a pre-built and don't really want to get into the keyboard kit and having to buy everything separately. But I am interested to know, are you part of the custom keyboard community or are you part of the pre-built keyboard community? Let me know that in the comments. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.